Hey guys, how's it going? December 12th, 2022. And we're going back in. The best couple of hours of my day. Besides seeing my son, I guess, but that's okay. I see plenty of my son. Well, I do plenty of this too, I suppose, but... I mean, put it this way, he was just hunting and I was dozing off or having a nap on the couch, so... It's like, oh, I killed this, I killed that. And I was like, oh, yeah, cool. It was like, you gotta get up. I gotta go. I said, yeah, I gotta get up. You're right. Our famous can't get on the server first time around. If you don't succeed, just try again. Well, this ain't good. Well, what is this gonna be? Uh-oh. It's the first time I did ever twice in a row. Well, my internet is up because, well, duh, I'm doing a live, so it better be up. This ain't good. I know they're going to start rolling out single players soon, but I didn't see that on the list. I hadn't heard about an update today. They just had an update the other day. Aw, man, this ain't looking good. Don't disappoint me. Really? Looking forward to this all day. Well, last build was at 209 today. So they've already had another build. Okay. I'm going to exit out of this for a second. I'm going to exit it as... let's just try going in. All that, I go live and you're going to be down on me. And this is the only thing we got. I mean, my life's going to be over if I can't get in, but... then we'll just have to talk about things, I guess. That's a bummer. No. Really? It's not giving me anything. Now I don't know what the hell that could be from. Could it be my internet? Could it be my bandwidth? Doubt it. Let's see where I stand in this world. Just give me a minute, guys. It seems like I'm fine. Let's do an internet speed test. I know I don't have the greatest internet, but sure, we'll do this one. Come on. See, this always does this. Oh yeah, we're okay. This is normal for me. Oops. Suppose I shouldn't show my IP, but that's not the end of the world. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Oh, jeez, that's fine. That's, for Canada, that's pretty good. Okay, alright, well, my speed is fine. Let's try this again. They might have just reset the servers. It's 9:20 p.m. I don't know if they're doing it every 3 or what. But I usually don't see it like right at this time. Well, let's go to the forums. If you guys haven't been onto this, like, stand by with me. Trust me on this one. Well, you got here very early, and this could be very disappointing. But we will talk about this. We'll make a go of this no matter what. So if you haven't been to this the forums, this is a good place of information. So SimRail forums, I usually just type in. Actually, that's the best one right there. And I just gotta get used to the address. I haven't got used to forums.simrail.eu. I'm used to going www. Like SimRail or something, but because that's their. Okay. So we will go with. Let's go see what happened. Bug reports multiplayer. I'll go with the general discussions for a second. And stuttering. Break delay setting. Well, I don't see anything in the general discussions. Let's see. I got the last post there. That's my little inner tube thing. Climbing down. It's not going to be listed as a bug. It's got to be in the general discussion. So this is something that's just happened. I'll go ahead. I'm not gonna post it just yet. So I'm not going to post it just yet. Let's see where we're at. Getting server list. It said getting server list. I don't know if it said that before. I think it did. I'll give it till about 21:25. We'll check. I'll post the message. Because I'm not too sure how a reset works. I think it just basically goes down and then it's like up within a minute. Like, I've had that. Usually I get that often the first time I go in. Maybe from now on I should make sure I'm in before I start a stream. Oh, this is... Can't wait for the night was my title. I'm like, okay, well, here I am. Jesus. Can't wait for the server. Or servers. Just give me one. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Exit this. Let's relaunch Steam. I don't know why. I don't think it matters. No, not Discord. Can't wait for single player. In those cases, I can't wait for single player. Did I open that? I don't know. Thought I double clicked it. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Updating Steam. Now that could be that. This could be it right here. Maybe. I doubt it. Just hang on with me, guys. We'll make a go of this. And if not, we'll have some fun. We'll talk about this. We'll go through the forums. You know, it's good. It's good to. And I've been going through the forums today. And don't get me wrong, I had my fill this weekend with this. I mean, I have had this since Saturday at evening, and I got all the way through past 24 hours and beyond, and I got to 13.2 hours. You saw pretty much all of it on YouTube. Well, you saw whatever I did on YouTube because I have 3 videos up for it. Or no, 4 because I had an original look at it. Okay, here we go. It's 21:25. I'll let it trip out once. Refresh. Come on. I'll click this a few times. I did that on purpose, just to get out of it, because well, we'll try again in about a half an hour. But sorry guys, until then we'll go over a few things. Just if you're not aware, the forum's very valuable. You guys can look on this information yourself. I guess I'm going to have to double up on the water because I'm going to be doing a lot more talking. Okay. Well, it ain't happening. At least not yet. Alright. What can you do? You're part of testing. Maybe they took me out of the testing thing. They revoked my access because I promoted it too much. So, yeah, about 5 minutes, so we'll see. So anyways, let me go through the chat here real quick again. There's not much to talk about, unfortunately, in the chat because I haven't provided any content yet. Whoops, where am I here? Hello? Yes. Yeah, welp. No kidding. Watch everything fall like... Okay, so there's my post. Are the servers down? Blah, blah, blah. Submit the topic. Did I not submit? I thought I did. Yeah, okay, here we go. So once I get an answer, somebody will say something. I can look in Polish. Can I read Polish? Well, that was 7 hours ago, so we'll go through the general discussion here and just some various things so that you're aware. Um, they've pinned a lot of these topics as far as how to do things. Uh, oh shit! I posted that twice. Jesus, Murphy, you dork. Can I delete my message? Okay. I can't delete a thread that I started? Guess not. I can report my own thread, but I won't do that. So English dispatcher buttons and Office dispatcher modes. The system map. This is a good one, guys. I got an answer to this one relatively quick, and that was there is a map who posted the following just to see where we're at as far as the system. So some of you can look on the forum and see these things yourself. You may not be part of the forum though, so I wanted to show that off. So this is the network. I don't know if it's all that's in there or just in the playtest, or if there's more, because I hear there's 500 kilometers, and I'm not too sure. I don't think there's 500 kilometers here. There's Warsaw. I'm not too sure how. I won't go bother doing that, but I could go take a look at the map in the Google map or whatever, and you can see where these networks come into play. Now I don't have a way of going into the various things. Some of the boxes that notable, for example, now the AI ones in gray, you don't have, they're not accessible, but they are there. Of course, this network is totally drivable. Well, I'm not too sure about the ones going off, but yeah, it must be at least this one. I'm not too sure, like down here across this one, but you can go that way. I think it ends, but Zawauzi KZ is. I go by the initials. So KZ is there. This one's a good one. I like this one because then you have the. This is a really good one actually, because you have the stuff that goes off to SP or Pilot. I go by the Pilot or whatever. I'm gonna butcher these, but I like this one because this, I don't remember seeing the track going. Oh no, it does Y. It does Y. So it's an entire Y. I forgot about that. I just haven't run any traffic off this way. Most of it has just come around, and I had some go this way, I believe, but that's a good one. Bedsin, I can't remember if I've actually tried out yet. I'm sure I have. Yeah, actually, I think. DG, that's a good one. I think DG. That one is... Well, that doesn't look as what I thought it was. That looks pretty straightforward. Oh no, that's the AI. Lazy. That's one. That's one that I was playing last night. That's one of the bigger boards, and that's interesting. because the whole thing with Lazy, and yes, the town is called Lazy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but oh, maybe no, that's not the town I was thinking of. But you got all these intertwining, who knows what, but I guess it's like a fly-through, where stuff goes down there. So that must be like a main way of getting around that away. I'm just looking at these to try to remember what is involved in them. Yeah, not much there. Crossovers. There might be a siding. This is kind of out in the country. I know there's one that comes up here. Oh yeah, sorry. It's okay. I've been on this one. I know I've done this one. Napoca. That's out in the country too. Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. I'm not too familiar with those ones though. So maybe it is the maybe it is that one that I was thinking of, the DG one. There's one that it goes off. I forget what it is. If it's a plant or what the heck it is, but yeah, I wish we had a map. Oh yeah, we can zoom in. Okay. Oh yeah, there's the different platforms. So it does go off. Yeah, there is a little something that goes this way into this area here. So that's what that's all about. Okay. But the key to DG is is plopping them up to the various platforms, and you have this. I believe this is double track right here. I could be wrong. It's not showing it as double track. Well, I guess it isn't. Okay, well, let's look at the track. So that's even better. AI, no, we can't do that one. Lazy's just nuts because you have all these. You get like 4 tracks going on, Perron 1 and Perron 2. I believe that is part of it. Yes, it is. And it doesn't seem like, yeah, because then there's this little flyover thing, and I remember seeing that. That's kind of an interesting one. It's a big one that I think it has to do with the steel mill, but I'm not positive on that. Maybe not. Which one has to do with the steel mill? I don't know. Could be them. No. I want to say GW is an interesting one too. Yeah, no, not really. Like, I'm butchering. I know there's some. That's just a couple sidings in the middle of the country. So there's a lot of boxes that are relatively. Sorry, let's see. I don't see anything about platforms here. But I do think it has to do with, yeah, it has to do with traffic coming off of this way. One of them has to do with traffic going the other way. I remember that. So it comes off to the right or something. But I don't know if that is it or not. So you got the double crossover. Maybe triple crossovers for some reason. No. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Is it this one? That's it right there. This is the one one of the ones that I've done that gives you a little bit more, because you get traffic going onto this onto the third line, which goes off this way. Oh yeah, okay. So this one here You can some of the some of the traffic goes up to SimRail or whatever it's called. So you have this crossover. Now I don't think you see this part on the board. I think all you see is the little section here. So you control the crossovers and everything else up to there. That's a fun one. So if you're looking for more of a challenge, once you've just started doing the basic double track crossover, platforms are interesting as well too. Yeah, this one's good too. This one I like. So this one's a good one if you're looking at as far as platforms. So generally speaking, you don't put anything on this track. It's all you have some services that stop here, whereas others overtake. I don't remember if you have anything else that comes through here or not. I suppose you might, because then it goes 4 tracks. I don't remember for sure. But there's one that has yeah, it's an interesting one. But it's a good little feature to pick out little boxes. It doesn't. You have to really take a look at it and kind of remind you, because the names themselves, I just remember the initials so much. This one, I don't think this is a big deal. Some of these I haven't really looked at. So this is just a crossover and something off to the side. I don't know what that is. I don't think we have any services that do much of anything. I know there's one where there's the platforms and it has the pedestrian gate in the middle, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. I forget where that's placed. So you actually have to control the pedestrian gates. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've been to this one. This one doesn't look familiar. It's probably just basic. That's probably why. So you got 2 tracks. What is that? They actually have a platform for that? Oh, it's for this. So you get a crossover. Just one little crossover, really. That has a signal box, really? I guess they all have signal boxes, because they don't have remote dispatcher control. I don't know if they have an overall chief dispatcher or whatever. Not too sure how that works. And then you get into the AI stuff, and I think that's the end of it. So let me just look back at this real quick, and then we will check in a few minutes with the servers, and if not, we'll talk about things. And I'll check the chat with you guys. Some of these AI ones, they look interesting. So hopefully some of them become available, because I would like to. I think the demand for boxes is very strong right now, multiplayer wise. This one, KZ. Oh yeah. There's like a yard underneath. Well, I got a funny feeling this is one of the big boards. Yeah, I think this is one of the big boards. There's one that comes down here. I know of at least 2 big boards, and there's one that's one with electronic and what have you. That could be an interesting one. Oh yeah, like it splits off entirely. So you get two directions going that way, and then you've got well, the AI's part of it, but SG, this one I like. This is one of my favorites, because you get the wide traffic, and you're up at the signal box, and you're looking. I don't know where the signal box is exactly. It's up by the platforms, I think. And oh yeah. This is the pedestrian crossings, I believe. Yeah, because there's a bridge off into the distance. I remember that. It says there's 2 pedestrian crossings, but I don't remember seeing both of them unless they're both gates. But somewhere in there, yeah, there's the platforms. So I think it's at the end of the platforms. There's 2 pedestrian crossings. I only see one here, but that one's interesting because you control this Y, which does have traffic, and you also control whatever's going on at the platforms, which is kind of neat. One of my interesting ones. Beds in, I'm not too sure about. There's a big yard there. I don't think it's that bad. Double crossovers. I mean, yeah, there's the yard, but is it really that bad? Not, probably not. Like I said, the 2 ones. DG. This one sounds familiar. Yeah, Perone 1, Perone 2. You might have something that goes to here, but it's not a big deal. Yeah, I do remember the stub track there. DG's, you know, once you get past those little double crossovers, that gives you a little bit of something, but it's not much. Does it have anything to do with this? I highly doubt it. And that one's an AI one, unfortunately. Some of those ones, yeah, lazy. That's what I'm just starting. This is one of, if you're gonna get into the big boards, this is one of the first ones to do. But there is some complicated things involved in it, especially when you're dealing with these 2 tracks. There's some release mechanism that has to take place when going. I see. So it's a flyover. That makes sense now. So when you look at these, when you look at a map like this, you kind of get the idea of exactly what's happening. So if we look over at this side, which doesn't really matter so much, it's all about what's going through here. You have the routes going through that way, and it just connects to the next signal box, which is right next door, which is probably much bigger anyways, but this is a good one. GW, that sounds familiar too. It has a siding, has 2 sidings, so you can bring traffic over, but I don't think it's a big deal. You got the crossovers, and that's about it. So like I said, the one with the Y is sorry, that's a one. That's one I'm not sure about, because yeah, you have traffic that goes off this way. So you got traffic that goes off that way. I think I already talked about the one that had the traffic going off this way, which is before the diamond, which I think is this one right here. Yeah. So you got Sari, which has its own traffic going off, and then you got 2 humans that are next door to each other, which is interesting. Which could be AI too. Yeah, and then you have this track that goes off, because that one is the one that goes off. So you got these ones give you a little bit, because you got. I don't think I've got on this one yet. I'll have to take a look at that. And then that one has your platforms, which is always a good one. Not 100% sure if I've tried that one. There's one that has both regular service and commuter service, so that might be an interesting challenge. These ones up here, probably not much of anything other than some double crossovers. That might have something, but yeah, it looks like a siding, some crossovers. So you get some passing sightings, which, as far as I know, they're not needed for anything other than emergency stuff. I don't think they have overtakes so much. Most of the overtakes are scheduled. This one is just totally basic. And then that's it. Okay. So that's the maps. And I'll leave that open for a second. Really? Okay, I didn't see that. Scroll down to the bottoms of the forums and it has a server. You're right. I remember seeing that before, though. You're totally right on that one. No, I don't know sure where that is. Is it in the main page? Well, it shows people on them. That might have just it might have just come up. Those are, well, that don't mean necessarily anything, but there's not that many people driving at the moment, so maybe the servers just came back up. Thanks, Quincy. I forgot about that. I did see that the other day, so thanks for reminding me. Let's go back in. Cross our fingers and all that other crap. Can't wait for the single player, though. At least then you have that to go back onto. We might have our pick of the litter here. If I wasn't too busy yapping. Come on, baby. Unless things are just like really slow across the networks and it's just not, it's just totally timing out with me. It don't look good. I'll give it a few tries, but I'll hate to think if it's my friggin' internet, because I got this thing where it sometimes takes a while to load a page, and I wonder if that has something to do with some of the issues I have, but I've heard other people have had issues. And I don't know how old that list is. If it's updated or if it had its last stat and it's no longer reporting stats. Like, everything that I'm seeing on the internet is about normal for me, which isn't the greatest. No, this is not looking good. But nobody else is complaining but me at the moment, or at least I don't know if anybody complains or what, but okay, well, I'm going to exit back out again. This ain't looking good. Yeah, so when I'm going into like a web browser or whatever, what servers do we got here? Those are Poland. There's English too. Info, more. Percentage filling, most players. The most players. I don't know what that means. The most players of all time? Probably. English 1 has nothing. I wish it would show total service 48, total players 41 of 953. Does this include dispatchers? So 115. Let's just play around here for a second here. So 41 of 953. Let me do a refresh. 48 total servers. This is gonna drop. This should drop out. I don't know how. Drivers. What about dispatchers? Toggle this widget. Okay. 41 of 953. If I keep refreshing this, this should change. Because players go in and out all the time. And I don't know if this is like a stat. You think it would be up to date, but we'll remember that 41 of 953, and we'll go back into that by the top of the hour here. Because this will change too. As the schedule's going along, this number should change. So 41 of 953. I'm going to watch that very carefully. We'll watch that. I'll do a refresh in a few minutes. Because is there any information? Drivers? Question mark. Okay. Toggle scroll. Toggle scroll. Okay, so this is now dispatchers. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, guess what? We got no dispatchers right now, except in Poland. So far in something's wrong with North America. Because we got no dispatchers. That's insane. I've never seen that. Normally you got 4 or 5 dispatchers in a night. I have never seen that in all English countries. What are the drivers like? And these drivers could actually be from Poland. Because I have seen Polish drivers. This is nuts. You're telling me there's only 2 people on? Something's wrong. So one of the regions is having an issue, is my guess. I don't know how they have it. I don't know if they have a North American server. Who's online? 10 members. Okay, well that's me. That's me on the forum. There's 10 people on the forum right now. If I go into... I'm hoping to get a reply. Are the servers down? I got a reply. Okay. I do have a reply. Are the servers down? There's 5 replies. Me too. I have the same problem. Same at first, I thought I was something on my end, seeing as how the server status on the main SimRail forum page has players in some of the servers, and now I'm fairly comfortable they took down the main server, and the made changes last received info. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so I was just the first one to ring the alarm bell. Also here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to get a drink because I'm going to have to... Yeah. Thanks, Quincy. I was going to look at that anyway, so enough of that refreshing garbage. We'll try this. We'll try it as we go along. I'll do it one more time, top of the hour, okay? Wish me luck. And if it doesn't do it, we'll talk. We'll go through some of the stuff. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, so trust me, I'll make this entertaining for you guys. You know me, I'll make it entertaining. We'll talk about a lot of things. We'll talk about the broader range of. It's kind of weird because every time I put a friggin' description for a video, I try to make my descriptions meaningful, but I never know. You never know with a server like this, especially when you're on, what you're going to be doing. Okay, this ain't working. What it used to do is that box would come up almost right away. This one's just hanging. One more time. One more time, and then we'll try... I don't even know if I want to even bother trying. I will try maybe at 10:15. I'll give it one shot, and then... But they gotta get the single player going in the playtest. I mean, hey, you know, it's for their benefit right now. It's not for ours, but there's a lot of, you know, certain bugs that need to be worked out, and the team's working on this stuff. So, okay, so let's exit this for now. I am going to get a drink of water so that I can get myself prepared, and we'll go and we'll talk about some things. Just give me a few seconds, guys, and I will keep this window open. Yeah, it's not going to be as popular as tonight. I apologize. I can't control the servers, so that's just the way it is. Give me 1 minute here, and I will talk to you. We'll look at the forums in a minute. We'll just talk for a little bit. Be right back. Just grabbing some water here. But today was the first. Today was the first day that I got to take a look at the servers. Or not the servers. I'm sorry. The first day that I got to really take a look at the forum. I didn't go into the Steam discussions. I didn't have time, but I probably will again tomorrow. I did post in the Steam discussions. The YouTube stream has, or the YouTube channel has started to hit quite a bit. The number of videos, all that other stuff. So I appreciate those who could, you know, continue, the regular guys who continue to support me, like you guys. And obviously, I'm not getting the viewers tonight because I'm not showing a stream right now of something where I'm actually running. See, they're dropping like flies now. They don't want to hear me talk. I don't blame you. But I'll make it entertaining. I promise. You know me. Let's talk about things. First of all, this is 2023 is looking to be a very, very good year for train simulation, at least for me. Obviously we got this. I'm not worried about the server issues. You know, there's going to be, I don't know what's going to be involved in all the stuff, but the single player test is supposed to be taking place very soon. These guys are doing updates daily and sometimes more than one. They are really, really, really active. So, although this thing is kind of a bummer, I don't worry about it. I can't, you know, this is the first time I actually have had a downage, but mind you, I mean, I've literally been involved in this for, I mean, just over 48 hours. It's hard to believe. And my, you know, my hierarchy of all the stuff, and then believe me, I have purchased a lot of stuff lately. I said before this, I said, I'm not purchasing anything else. I've got enough stuff this year, and then all of a sudden I purchased for $5 the Hunter Call of the Wild, and that's more for Emmett. And he has a lot of fun with that. And for $5, I was like, yeah, no problem. It's a really cool game. So we have all these sims outside of Railroad. And we were doing that because about a week or so ago, I mean, probably a week ago, this time 1 week ago, the only thing that was on my radar was I knew about SimRail because I had seen the things before. But when I first saw SimRail, I mean, my first impression was, okay, this could be interesting. But you know how trailers are. You look at this stuff and you see it, and it's like da 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 da. And I mean, you look at it. You saw when I go into it. Now I'm skipping it. These trailers are, they blow the proportion out of a lot of things. Sure, they show real game footage a lot of times, but this is not only is this the real deal, it actually, I would say, over delivers, because the trailer pumps it up like it's really good, but when you actually get into the sim itself, regardless of whatever bugs there are, and there are going to be bugs, that's why they're still testing, and they're fixing them, believe me. This is a very encouraging sign. This kind of reminds it reminds me of the days when Run 8 first started 10 years ago. And I say that, I mean, it's comparing apples to oranges, to be quite honest. But it reminds me of how much you were getting updates. In fact, it's better. To be honest, let's be real. This is a bigger team, and it's with all due respect to Run 8. This is a bigger team. They have a bigger budget. This is a really large outfit, and it's refreshing, because I can tell you right now, this thing, as far as I'm concerned, yes, it's not going to probably have as much content because they're focused on quality over quantity. So whatever they sell this, and I'm sure they'll have DLCs. I'm pretty sure they should. They should reward themselves with future purchases. I'm totally for companies that have DLCs, and Run 8 included. And in fact, Run 8, I'm hoping for some DLC, and I'm not talking about some cool looking cars. And yeah, I mean, with all due respect to the guys who work on those cars and rolling stock, hey, there's a lot of people that are going to like those things, but the reality is, there's one thing I want with Run 8, and that is smaller regions. I want two things with Run 8. One or the other. It has to happen. That's the only thing that gets me back into Run 8, is smaller regions, or the ability to have the AI switching. I believe at some point one or the other will happen. I have faith in Run 8. I believe they will deliver it. Are they there yet? Probably not. Are they going to be able to succeed? Are they having people tonight that are going in and playing Run 8 and being on servers and having a fun time while I get annoyed, or not annoyed really, just disappointed, I suppose, that I can't get on? Sure. I think so. I think that this is one of those with things that the majority of people in Run 8, the diehards that are in it right now, and I'm not going to call them fanboys or anything like that. Yes, there's some fanboys in there too, where Run 8 can never do any wrong. But I'm talking about the diehards who love the game, who have been disappointed or like it or whatever, but they truly, for the most part, Run 8 is their baby. And I respect that, because for years Run 8 was my baby. But I can put Run 8 aside right now, with all respect to them and to the developing team, and wishing them the best of luck, because I have no ill feelings for Run 8. I really don't. They've given me, about a decade of pleasure, and helped build this channel to where it is right now, where I can get a reach out there and reach others rather quickly, I might add. because there wasn't that many people. Had I got into it a few days before, I might have beat some interesting names in there. But I'm still up there amongst some of the train guys that are out there who are doing YouTubes. And I was able to get myself out there rather quickly. And I'm pleased with that, and I'm going to continue to do that. And lo and behold, all of a sudden, the subscribers and the views start coming, and it was just like, and I'm very thankful for that, because that heads me towards potentially making a little bit of money off of well over 10 years of content on this channel. So with all that's there, and then I can make a little bit of money off of all that hard work, great. And yeah, I was pissed at YouTube not too long ago with some stupid stuff that happened, but hey, the reason why I'm here for the most part is for you guys, and for my enjoyment. Selfishly, it's for my enjoyment too. I like being able to reach out to my community. I don't have very many close friends. I have a lot of colleagues, but I have a couple of good close friends that I see. I can go for months without seeing, and that's the way it is. I'm late again. Unfortunately, Switcher, you ain't missing anything tonight, because the servers are currently down. And so I know you're late again, but you haven't missed too much. The only thing we've been talking about is trying to go in. We were talking about the forum a little bit, and I'll go through a few things, and I'm going to be going through the forum in a little bit as well. But I'm only here till 11 p.m. tonight. Weeknights, I'm only here for it's 10:11 Eastern right now, so. I usually start at 9:15 on a weeknight, so yeah, so run 8 is, as much as it is near and dear to my heart, and I want them to succeed. I want them to build and do things. They're just not. They're not enough to keep me invested personally, despite the fact that there's many on my channel who love Run 8. If I can go in and just start running Run 8, I guarantee you I will get a lot of views and do tutorials and all that other stuff. I can guarantee you that. But at the end of the day, I also have to be happy too. So that's why I have been doing other things. So as I was saying, my focus was on Railroader, and 2023 is going to be a great year, because I can assure you, Railroader is a guaranteed buy for me. I would buy it right now. If they all of a sudden started selling it, you're damn right I'd buy it. I wouldn't hesitate. I would find whatever, and it's not like I'm rolling with money or anything. I would buy it. You look at if you look on Twitch and you look at the latest stream that they did, it was awesome. It was fun. It reminds me of American Truck Simulator. The way the world is, and in fact, the lighting is phenomenal. The sunsets, and how the sky and everything. It's just phenomenal. Even better than what SimRail is doing. SimRail is great, and as far as I was cutting the grass and I forgot the time. Yeah, but so I was trying to see as far as where everything. I was thinking about this today too. Where does everything lie on my little totem pole? And let me just go back into one more try with the software, because we all want to dispatch. You don't want to hear me talk, but if not, I will make the most of it for the next till the bottom of the hour, where I will call it a night. But let me try going in one more time. Is this me here? That is me. We'll go through this. Let's just go through the whole. I won't skip it. Like, look at that. I've done that board. Yes. It's that good, it's even better. When it lets me in. Alright. Let's see what it does. Is it going to let me in now? And if not, that's okay. We'll give it a few tries, and if it doesn't go, connecting to API. Well, that's encouraging. That's encouraging because that one wasn't timing out. It usually does that. Come on, baby. Start showing them. I'll do it one more time. Nah, it's not going to be encouraging. The fact that it connected to the API and it timed out right away is usually what happens. Maybe it was doing that before. Yeah, it ain't looking good for the that part. But don't worry, I'll make this entertaining. You know me. Nah, let me back out of the. Yeah, I already crashed one more time. I know I'm getting serverless. No, you're not. I can't find the server list is what it should be saying. Or whelp, as Quincy put it. Okay, enough of this crap. I don't think so. Come on. Throw up. Let's go. Single player can't come quick enough. Getting serious. Okay, goodbye. Yeah, well. Shit happens. Okay, so we're not going to do that tonight. It's 10:17. I'm not going to get myself started, but this is okay. Don't worry about it. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have fun. We're already having fun. It is, and when you see that, right? And like, you know, okay, server issues aside, when you get this game in January, and we're talking a mere few weeks away. Now, there's a lot of people who are saying this should be delayed. And as someone who's got a playtest, okay, fine. You know, I've got it for free right now. If I can help you guys and you want to delay a release to make money on it, well, I'm not saying that they're saying that. Some of the others are saying that. What they worry about is when this goes to the public, that it's going to have a bad rep. And obviously they need to make their money. So I don't blame them for releasing it, but I also don't blame the community being concerned. But in the long run, it's like they're a business. They'll handle it. Yeah, and it was. This was on my wish list. But when I saw that trailer the first time, I thought, and I heard I heard a lot of people were some people did the I didn't do the prelude or the prologue or whatever the hell that was. And I checked the prologue, because the prologue, if I recall, was only running the train. So the prologue gave you a tutorial of how to do things in one train, and it took you from one point to the other, if I recall. And for me, just running a train is okay.
I like the graphics and everything. It's gotten better since the prologue, I'm pretty sure. I'm not positive, but it still didn't. It was like, okay, it's the prologue. I want to be able to get really into it, right? And that was what I was thinking. So the prologue, I looked at it, and yeah, it was on my wish list because I really wanted to see what it was going to be like in its full version. And, with the signal boxes and all that other stuff. So I think I had it on my wish list. Obviously nothing was released. And then all of a sudden I started hearing news about this playtest. And there was a YouTube video that went out about it. I was like, oh crap. I says, there's a playtest? And everybody's all excited about it. This guy's all excited about it. And I'm just like, and I'm watching this video, and he's like freaking out. And I'm like, what the hell is he freaking out about? Is this guy like, yeah? At first I thought, I said, what is this guy? I'm like, are you kidding me? What is this? I'm looking for Railroader in the new year, and all of a sudden we got this, and everybody's all hyped about this, and I'm like, what? And then I realized the release was like in January. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wasn't really thinking of that, and I wasn't really a majority passenger, and out in Poland, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm used to North America. I like my, I love switching and all that, and that's what I'm used to. I live here. So I was like, wow, this guy's like really, he's just marking out about it. I'm like, okay. So I'm watching the video, and I'm starting to mark out because he's marking out. I'm thinking, well, wait a minute, he's all excited and all, but I'm starting to get excited. This looks really interesting. And because he kind of went into one of the dispatch boards, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And I was like, use the exit signal. Click on the exit signal. That's what you're supposed to do. And he didn't know what the hell he was doing. But we've all been there, and I'm still there, and I'm experienced at dispatching, and believe me, there's a lot of boards where I had, like the other night, I had guys jumping up in front of me and like, are you idiot? I want to get going. I'm just sitting here at a red signal, and you don't know what the hell you're doing. I'm like, no, I don't. I'll leave now. I hope the AI recovers. But there's a lot of towers where I feel confident now. But I do like going out to the West Coast and trying out the servers that aren't as busy, because the West Coast is not as busy as the East Coast in North America. So, but yeah, this is everything the hype shows in that video and more. I'm not kidding. I don't hype things up. It does mean nothing. Yeah, okay, you can say, well, Sean's hyping it up because of his channel. No, he's not. I tear down simulations. If I really felt like it. There's days where there's just no news. I mean, there's been times where it's just like, okay, well, I do a video a week. How many times am I on a freaking Monday doing a live stream and going ahead and talking about this? And, I could be going into Medieval Dynasty or whatever. I don't care about those right now. They've gone down my list. This is where my heart is. I love trains. I'm proud to say it. But honestly, there just hasn't been enough, and Run 8 wasn't enough to keep me intrigued right now, which is okay. It's okay, because Run 8 has a business. They got to make money. I mean, they're not out to please me. So Run 8 has done amazing things for a small company, and they'll continue to do amazing things. I have a lot of faith in them. They will bring it. But there's a lot of money behind this company, and there is a lot of smart people and talented people behind this company. You can tell. And I think there's also some passionate people that believe in trains, or like trains enough, or at least understands that there is a demand, and can understand what the consumer really wants, the train enthusiast. And suddenly, boom, that's what Train Sim World was supposed to be. And yes, I know people still play Train Sim World. I get it. Train Sim World's gonna sell all this copies on every DLC that they spit out their ass. Okay, fine. Guess what? This thing kicks Train Sim World's ass, and it's got bugs, and it's like, I'm looking at it. Okay, it's Unity. Yeah, sure. There's frame rate issues. I'm sure there's all kinds of things. This thing kicked Train Sim World's ass, just like Run 8 does. And I look at that. I'm thinking to myself, this is what Train Sim World was supposed to be like, except it's European. And and I hear people on the forums and say, well, I was sitting at a red light because of the dispatcher. It's like, come on, relax. Give it a look again in about a week or two. And I've told him, and we've gone back and forth on Train Sim, and I think he understands. Oh yeah, I'll give it another look. But right now, it's not for me, or whatever, and I respect that. Everybody has their likes and dislikes, but anyways, let me catch up on the comments here, and take a breath and have a sip of water here. Yeah, been on my wish list for a long time. There's Scott. Yep, you can only run a train. Yeah, I remember that, and then that's why I never got it, because I was like, I'm gonna download this thing just to run a train from. So I wasn't hyped up then. I didn't believe the hype. I was like, okay, well, let's wait and see when the full version gets out, and then we'll see. But this thing is the real deal. And I'm not into European trains, just like I'm not into steam trains. You're damn right I'm going to get Railroader. I'm not into steam trains. Well, yeah, there's early diesels. I'm not even into that era. I don't care. It's railroads. Bring it on. 2023 is looking awesome. Railroader, they could release tomorrow. Like I said, I'd buy it. Boom. Then it would be interesting, because then it would be between Railroader and SimRail. Hell, I might just run them both. I might just alternate. Wouldn't that be cool? Have two simulators that you can go back and forth to, and get an experience. And maybe I'll throw the space game in there that I've kind of thrown to the curb. I mean, hell, I had Gold Rush. What the hell happened to Gold Rush? Gold Rush is sitting collecting dust. Medieval Dynasty has been collecting dust for about a month now, or close to it. But anyways, Train Sim World may suck, but you gotta. Oh, I'm sorry, Scott. I didn't even read your message. I was cutting the snow and forgot the snow. We didn't get much here. You guys got a lot of snow, poor you. I ain't worried about it. I had we got a little dusting. I didn't even have to clean the car this morning. It was great. Train Sim World may suck, but you gotta give DTG credit. Oh, I do. They've got the market sewed up, and nobody has been able to knock them off the perch yet. Nor will this. I don't think this will. Not yet. Not yet. They got a long ways to go. Train Sim World is the king. Train Sim World is Train Sim World, let me show that. I know Bill's not going to be swearing or doing anything bad. I had a moderation on Bill. What did he say here? We'll get to it in a minute. With DTG having the market sewed up, it makes it hard for other sim games to shine. That's okay. That's okay, because there's a lot of people out there that think Train Sim World's the best simulator out there, and I laugh. But hey, a lot of these people who say that, they don't. Number one, they don't look around enough, or they haven't been around enough to really understand what's out there. A lot of people don't know. It's amazing how many people don't know anything about Run 8. And honestly, if they, you know, if you were new to this and you just saw this, but then there was this thing called Run 8 that was out there, honestly, as somebody who likes trains and whatever, and if you're in North America especially, and I mean, Run 8 attracts people all over the world. I mean, we have people here outside of North America. Switcher's here. He can attest to that. Stranger's World is just a scripted game. Yeah. This is the point. I like this point. Train Sim World is just a scripted game which does not happen in real life. Just repeats itself. That's why I will not buy TSW 3. That is why I only played TSW 1 for free, and I was tired of it. Almost, it didn't take long. It was like, yeah, maybe having the market sewn up is why DTG don't give a shit about finding bugs in their products. Yep, because they don't have to worry about it. They got the people who will just open up their wallets and just say, here we go. We are just talking about TSW and talking about Train Sim Collapses, and one of the most expensive games on Steam to date. And you're exactly right, Bill. DTG is a cash cow. Yeah, but they're a good cash cow. They know what they're doing. They have a big market. I'm telling you right now. Here's the thing. This Polish company, and it is a Polish company. They are going to make a huge dent in that little niche, just like Run 8 made their dent. And Run 8 didn't make a huge dent, but it made enough of a dent to make Run 8 viable. So Train Sim World can go screw themselves, and do whatever the hell they want, make all the money they want. They're just another video game as far as I'm concerned. Now, let me talk about Run 8 for a minute. Run 8 could learn from what these guys are doing. And I know Run 8 guys will watch these streams, and you know, if they're smart, they'll take the my admiration of Run 8, and understand that I mean well, and I mean from the heart when I want Run 8 to succeed. I really do. But Run 8 has to be willing to take constructive criticism. They shouldn't take people just bashing them for the hell of it. They have to take constructive criticism. And despite my rants, I think and the reason the rants happen is because of the lack of communication. The whole thing with Run 8, and right now they're fine, but Run 8 does not have any buzz again. They only are going on what they've got. Eventually that's going to fade, and you're going to have all these companies that are coming up building stuff who have a lot of buzz. SimRail had it for a while. I just totally forgot about it. because I wasn't focused in on it, because I didn't believe the hype. I thought, okay, we'll see. I'll put it on my wish list. We'll see what it is. Run 8 has got to communicate better. I've been saying it for a long time. But more importantly, Run 8 has to look at things they talk about. When they go on the record and they say something, and this is why I think they don't make promises that they can't keep, or they don't say things because they're afraid to. They're afraid to disappoint. They're afraid to be criticized. I think that's my opinion, and I don't like criticism. As a person, I take criticism very badly. I am not good at taking criticism. I take things very personally. I try, as I've gotten older, I think I've gotten better at it. I think I've lightened up a bit. I try not to get into wars on the forums as much. I try not to. Yes, I butt heads with certain moderators and certain people, but I try not to let it affect me. I try not to let people's opinion affect me. And hey, there have been people on my YouTube channel who have left and who have basically told me, Sean, you got to stop worrying about what other people think. They're right. I have to pay attention to that. And I have to reach out and just go with the goodness of my heart and reach out to people and use my voice, use my platform, and say, hey, wake the hell up. Run 8, back in when version 2 came out, and I'm going to hold them to this. They've been listening, and they've listened to me and others with various ideas more recently, and they've delivered. They've put in things like stuff like the little beep thing and whatever, a simple little thing. They've delivered. They've put various things. I know they've put at least 2 or 3 ideas in this version 3 that I have talked about recently, and they've delivered. So kudos to them for that, and kudos to listening to other people. However, that doesn't take what has been said in the past, and it's still there, and it needs to be addressed. We can go way back, but I won't go way back. I'm gonna go up to right after version 2 came out, because version 2 was the biggest buzz, and it was huge. Because the buzz was all there coming up to version 2. It didn't stop. And then what happened? Right at version 2, after it started coming out, we realized that there was certain... Version 1 was totally open world. Open, it was total sandbox. You didn't have the AI trained. You basically were left at your own means. You had to compete with other servers, and yes, that sucks. But you still had to compete. You had to bring people on and show that, hey, I have something that makes my server different than others. Come check us out and see how it like. And the way you were, and then the way I handled myself as a server owner, reflected on whether or not people were going to join or not, how they felt they were being treated, how they felt they were being respected or disrespected or whatever. So the onus was on me, but I had to compete. And because I didn't necessarily try to make everybody happy and treat it like, well, it's all about making people happy, that's all that counts, I never did that. That's where I lost. Well, Run 8 has their niche, and they try to make themselves happy, and that's where they're going to lose out on certain things. And it's okay, because it's their baby. They can do whatever they want. If it's all about what they want to, if their primary focus is on what makes them happy, and they make some money off the side, and if they build it, people will come. Good for them. More power to them. Then they don't have to worry about competing in the marketplace. But version 2, I'm going to go back to something that they said. I remember this. The scheduling system. Back in version 2, it was said, and I remember this specifically. I forget a lot of things. I got a lot of brain damage, but believe me, there are certain things I remember quite well. Actually, I remember stuff about editors, by the way, despite what John says. I remember talk about editors. Okay? He can deny it all he wants. I'm not gonna get into a pissing contest with John on Train Sim about that, and I didn't. I let it go. See, I know how to let certain things go, especially when you're talking about people who are developers. I don't want to get in pissing contests with them. But one thing I will say is this. There was supposed to be a Mo-Beta, and that is, they quote, because Mo-Beta is something they talk about a lot, and there was supposed to be a Mo-Beta scheduling system. Guess what? You're seeing it in action right now. What makes a difference between what I'm doing right now and just throwing trains out there? Purpose. It's all about purpose. Purpose is what drives the interest of of the average person who doesn't get tired, who's going to be invested, who's going to be, crap, I can't get on the server tonight. Well, okay, it's not the end of the world. There's tomorrow. It sucks, but life goes on. We can talk, and this was a good time for me to reflect on things. You have to address some of the big lagging things. Now, as far as getting a better scheduling system in there, and it's different in North America because things aren't run timetable with all these timetable entries. There's not as much passenger equipment, and freights are run as extras. But there's still a calling schedule. You don't throw 3 San Diego bars in a row. What got me out of Run 8 again, more recently, was despite the fact that I was running these little small stupid regions in the middle of this big, huge potential of a really connected system in Los Angeles, what got me out of it again was not because of Run 8 did or didn't do anything. Run 8 was fine. Run 8 did what it did more and over-exceeded in producing version 3. But what got me out of it again was the same things that I was missing in version 2. It got stale. And it got stale quick because there wasn't that scheduling system. I wasn't able to utilize all that. The reason why trains are scheduled, or the reason why you can schedule services, is because there's a purpose for them and you need to. Yeah, you can spawn in whatever the hell you want. But are you going to sit there and spawn? That's the whole thing about it. Without that schedule, and you just got random trains going by on a freaking double track main line in front of you at San Bernardino, and I'm looking at this, I'm thinking to myself, what the hell am I doing? I could run freaking Mojave and get that same result. It doesn't matter where I'm at. Mojave was fine. There was not as many industries. Yeah, you'd have to go up the mountain or whatever. I didn't need to go to San Bernardino. The only reason why I thought San Bernardino would be kind of cool was because of the intermodal. Whoopie-doo. It's one other industry. It don't mean nothing. No. And it was like, same shit, different place, basically. And that's it. Now, the other one was the regions, smaller regions. I've been saying that for a while. Is it going to make them a lot more money? Probably not. Is it probably something that I want that others really don't give a rat's ass about? Probably. That's why it's not having it. So guess what? I can't have my cake and eat it too. Oh well. Hey, them's the breaks. But that's what's keeping me away from it. That's why other programs are going to go above. Not only are the train programs going to go above, but so are other programs going to go above, like space programs and survival programs and all the other things. They're going to go above because of that. And if I just get that smaller region, and there's supposed to be a bunch of new regions, so okay, they have to produce the content now. It's all about producing the content. Make your money. Throw out a bunch of content. I'm not saying putting content out there is easy. And you might make a route, and I may not give a rat's ass about it, but guess what? A lot of other people will, so that's good. Make your money, guys. And if you want to take time off and just enjoy the fruits of your labor, go ahead. People are still going to purchase Run 8 and enjoy Run 8. And there's people right here that are going to continue to purchase Run 8 and enjoy Run 8. So but that's all I got to say about them. As far as the editors, yeah, we could talk about that. Software development kit, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? But anyways, that's all I got to say about Run 8. Run 8's doing fine. I got no issues with Run 8. Those are the two things that, those are the two main things that get me back into Run 8. Otherwise, hey, it's been a good run. I got no hard feelings. It's all good. Wow, did I go off on one there? Let's read the comments here, and then we'll talk more about this. And no, I'm not going to try to get on the server again tonight, because I'm going to bed in 15 minutes here. Matter of fact, edits were mentioned a few months after version 1 was released. Yep, software development kit was on the board, as was a bunch of other routes that never came to being. I think people called them out on that, but anyways. Matter of fact, I'd go further back than that. They were announced. Yep, exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Quincy. Umasub, Alaska was one that was mentioned. I even heard little rumblings of Kicking Horse Pass, although it was never. I don't know where the hell I heard that one. Maybe I better shut my mouth. You never know about non-disclosure agreements, but who knows with my memory. I thought there was something about that, but anyways, who knows. Chicago was a separate incident altogether. It had nothing to do with Run 8, or indirectly anyways, but and that's when the Run 8 forums were up, absolutely. I'm not sure, but I think they really... let's read this here. Eyes. They really looked it down when a group said they were going to pirate it, so no editors, etc. could... they really locked it down when a group... Yes. Well, they were pirating a lot of... a lot of their stuff into, I think it was trains or something. Maybe Quincy will talk about it. It was locked down because of open rails. I'm sorry. Yes, that's the one. Yep. Hey, how's it going, Harrison? So, yeah, the SimRail playtest unfortunately didn't happen tonight but we will talk. I want to finish things off with SimRail. First of all, I'll just throw in here, that's my whole story with Run 8 and why I'm not doing it. My little thing, speaking of internet lag, there, I had the little bubble there for a second. So Run 8, I talked about that a little more than briefly, but I got that off my chest, so that's cool. No biggies. The Run 8, so that's Run 8. The other one is Railroader. Railroader isn't worried about releasing anything. They want to get it perfectly right. But the good part about that is we are getting videos and we're getting buzz. We're getting we're getting constant showing of different things. One thing that wasn't really mentioned was an observation car, and I didn't know about that, and I hadn't seen it on any of the videos, but it was on one of the screenshots. There was an observation car, and a lot of people got it. And all the Steam nuts, I mean, they go crazy about the various moguls and all the other crap. The various, I could care less about the Steam engines. I mean, honestly, I'll run. I imagine I'm going to have to run Steam for a while, and then I'll get to. I just can't wait to get to the diesels. Get back out of the Stone Age, and get. I mean, here's me talking about Stone Ages. I'm 50 years old, a dinosaur, but well, I'm not necessarily a dinosaur, but getting there. It's yeah, it's I don't care about the steam trains. I care about the operation that's in place, and it's got a neat little small feel to it that it looks a lot of fun. The graphics are beautiful. I don't know how I compare. Now I think they're better than SimRail, slightly. Both of them are better than Run 8, obviously. Train Sim World, you throw that into the mix because, well, it's kind of weird because some of the object building geez, I got all these names in my head right now. Railroader need a little work. They need more objects in that, but you could tell the lighting. The lighting is tremendous, and they don't have enough lamps and everything. But then again, I don't know how much the lamps they're supposed to have. I think they're supposed to have more development and stuff like that too. But I think that comes down to the 3D artist and the ability to put out a lot of stuff. So obviously they're working on the program and other things, and they don't want to bog down things and etc. And they already have a bit of frame rate issues, I believe. Some people have noticed. Personally, I don't give a rat's ass. I'm used to low frame rates, so it looks fine to me. But yeah, they can take my money right now, and I would gladly pay. I'll find enough money to pay. It'll be fine. Obviously, I'm not going to pay a fortune. I'm going to pay the right price if they're, wanting to take my hide. Well, maybe not. Maybe I'll have to save up for that. They can have my ass later. But, so, that's a good one. But getting back to closing out tonight, it's like 10:52. I'm just going to say again with SimRail, despite the bugs, despite the server being down, this thing over delivers. It really does. It's every bit of the hype, and it's just, yes, it's scheduled operations. There are editors involved. I don't know what that's all about, but I got a funny feelings to schedule an editor, and guess what? That already puts it better than Train Sim World right there alone. The fact that they can go in, and yes, they have their own little schedule thing too, but it's not scripted. This is dynamic because it's got multiplayer, and you can go in and you can have people screw up trains, and guess what? It affects. I'm in a signal box the other night, yesterday or whatever, and it was like, has this train come up on your board yet? I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. Or then the one time he said, yeah, it did go up on his board. It went through 30 minutes ago. And I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe it went through super early and it just got in through before me, which was kind of stupid because they didn't care about station stops. Because some of the people who run, they just keep on running, or they'll not bother taking the station stops or whatever. That didn't sound right, sir. What? What didn't sound right? Did I say something? Oh, what, out of my ass? I don't know. I remember saying something about that, about money and out of my ass or something. I don't know. Whatever. What did I say, Quincy? I don't know what I said. I just ramble. Open rails. Oh, okay. Heard about it. It was all out war. Yeah. Okay. Um, Doing good. I'm excited for SimRail next month. Yeah. And SimRail the playtest right now. I'm very excited. I mean I was like my whole title of this was can't wait for the night. Well, the night came and the server decided not to come. But hey, that would be it. Okay, what did I say? Something about out of my ass. That sounded wrong. Oh, okay. Chunk out of my hide or whatever. It's just a saying about like basically being too expensive. That's what I meant by it, but not out of my ass. Not literally or figuratively, but whatever. Maybe figuratively. But yeah, man, my voice is almost gone now. That's great. Oh yeah, it sounded wrong. That's okay. Everybody will live. Um, but there's an editor. There's something about a depot. I don't know what the hell that is. Maybe that's about customizing different things, or I don't know what. There was an option about depot. There was yeah, and I remember going into it. Like you had an option of depot. You had an editor. This is all grayed out right now, of course. Single player is the next one. Now this on a night like tonight, I would have just popped into single player. There's tons of ideas, but the big part about this, guys, is right now you have a team that seems to understand its target audience, and railroading can be very, very popular, and you can kill two birds with one stone because believe me, as good as Train Sim World has a market, it has a huge, huge, huge segment of people that think it's utter garbage. Yet some people still play it and say that it's utter garbage and they know it, but they don't care. But they'll throw their money at it anyways. But which is fine. They know it, but it's the best. It's better than nothing, right? So, but SimRail, they seem to want to. They seem to want to stroke the imagination of what it's like to have European railroads and doing it right with proper AI. So they got the AI signal boxes. They have the AI trains. They have the graphics. They have the sounds. The sounds are amazing. I love. Now some people say the sounds are like, oh yeah, it's like deafening, and maybe they are. I think you can adjust those a bit, like some of the interior sounds. But I love going over the joints on those things, and you just hear you hear it, you feel it. It feels really, really good. So yeah, I'm super stoked about the future of that, because now there's at least two, SimRail and Railroader. These are both projects. SimRail ain't going away, by the way. If I go into Railroader, I guarantee I can't see. I don't know how long Railroader's going to last. Railroader might it may not last forever. It might be a fling. I don't know. I still want that fling. So, I mean, yeah, but now that SimRail came along, all of a sudden it's just like, okay, well, Railroader can come when it wants. I'll be here. I'll be here when it's ready. It's not like, hey, I need Railroader, because at that point it was like when I saw a video of Railroader, it's like, yeah, I need that. But I still had other things. I still had other cool stuff like what do you call it? I can't even remember the game because I haven't played it all week since all the weekend. I've gone 4 days without playing No Man's Sky. I'm like, what? You telling me that a week ago? I'm like, are you crazy? I'm not going to give up No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky was the shits. It was like, yeah, this is it. And and I was enjoying the hell out of it. And then I mean, this weekend was nuts because you had that, and then the Hunter Call of the Wild was on sale, 80% off. I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, you kidding me? Hunter Call of the Wild comes out and it's like 80% off, and I'm like, really? And I go ahead and I get it, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, with everything going on right now, I'm probably not going to use it. Now, did Hunter come out before this? I think Hunter. I can't remember. I don't know what happened. I can't remember. The weekend's just kind of a blur. All I know is the only thing that mattered for me was SimRail. Hunter Call of the Wild. I enjoy watching. I was falling asleep tonight though because I needed some sleep. So, but I'll go a little past 11. Why not? Who cares? I had my little nap. My voice can handle it for a little bit more. But yeah, SimRail. These guys are making an update. They made another update today. They're doing multiple updates in a day. They are working. They seem to have a dedicated amount of people that are around, not necessarily around the clock, but they seem to. I mean, they talk about certain things and like, oh yeah, the map. There's going to be an online. There was going to be an online map this week that comes out. Because people were talking about maps. Oh yeah, we're gonna have a map and we're gonna have this, and somebody was suggesting having trains on it. It's like, oh yeah, you're gonna see that. I'm like, what? It's like, really? You're just gonna throw this stuff in? It's just like people are throwing out ideas and they're just like, oh yeah, we're gonna put that in. It's like they know what people want. It's crazy. I haven't even gone into the suggestions because I'm just like, okay, well, I like everything right now, so I'll suggest stuff when I think I'm ready. And there's people that have suggestions. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know about all this other stuff. Like there's probably a lot more freight options too that they haven't got to yet. I don't care. Once it gets a little boring, then I might say, well, gee, because I haven't got a freaking clue how the freight operations work. So, but it's been out for a while, at least a year ago. Yeah, oh geez, yeah. Hunter Call of the Wild has been out. Yeah, it's been out for a while, and it's been on our wish list. We've been waiting for a sale. And then it just came. It came out, and it was just like, at the time, I was just like, yeah, I like subsistence, and I like the outdoorsy stuff, and I'm not into hunting and fishing or anything like that. My son's more into that, although he's never hunted, but he's fished. He doesn't have a dad that is going to take him to do those things. He's got to do them on his own. But I'll go with him, and stuff like that, and try to facilitate those things. But yeah, he'll get into whatever he gets into. But he's into all that stuff. He don't care. So he's got a definite interest in the outdoors. But he enjoys watching me play SimRail now, and then when he has his turn, he goes and plays Hunter. And most of the time when we're wide awake, we both watch each other, and sometimes he's tired at the later nights or whatever. He didn't get much sleep or whatever the night before, and he'll start drifting off. And ditto, especially when I'm I think I had 5 hours sleep the one night after I played this. I woke up early the next morning. I couldn't get back to sleep. I was like, okay, I gotta launch this. Had the server not worked, I was like, oh, damn, I'm going back to bed. But no, it was good. Everything was good that morning and that day, and everything in between. It was just like, it was a crazy weekend. But I can't believe how many hours I put into the thing. Oh, it's like, you freaking nuts. I spent pretty much half of my weekend. I mean, less than a quarter. Normally I'd be going for a third of my time sleeping, especially on a weekend. But man, I barely got a quarter of my time sleeping. I don't even know if I got that some nights. It was nuts. It reminded me of the days where I would, especially with Run 8. I remember the days where I would play freaking till 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was like, the sun would be coming up. I was just like, yeah, this was back when I didn't have a job. I was in between jobs too. I was like, I'd be playing all night, and all of a sudden I'd be hearing the birds chirping up. I was like, oh wow, the sun's coming up. I was like, yeah, those were the days with Run 8 back then. So I mean, hey, Run 8 was. I say Run 8's the best train simulator on the planet. It's not anymore. I don't know how good the physics are with SimRail yet, but Run 8 Train Simulator for me is the best train simulator in North America. Guess what? I guarantee you that this simulator that's coming out right now, or coming out this year, not SimRail, but Railroader, it's not going to beat Run 8 as the best train simulator. I already know that for a fact. And the reason why I know that for a fact, and when I say best train simulator, I'm talking about the actual physics and the actual operation or ability to simulate the actual train itself. When you talk about railroad simulator, then I put them into different categories. But as far as train simulator goes, it is no longer the best train simulator on the planet. SimRail has tied that. I don't know how good, but I would say Run 8 is the best train simulator in North America. SimRail is the best train simulator in Europe, and then who knows, or at least Poland or whatever. But Train Sim World can't touch either of them. Train Sim World doesn't. They got a pretty good market on Europe, and they got their little services. They barely. I mean, I don't know how much. Time they got or whatever, but the bottom line is, I know Train Sim World cannot have this. They don't have multiplayer for one, and they don't have the dynamic AI and the ability to have things change on the fly and whatever, or run a service and things go wrong and it affects other services and multiplayer. That just brings in a total new dynamic. But yeah, I got the Epic thing too. But for me, Epic was the sorry, your Epic. I didn't get the Hunter free. I didn't know that was free on Epic. Jesus. We totally missed out on that. We probably weren't looking at it then, to be honest. But what happened with when you mentioned Epic? That's how I got my first look at Train Sim World for free. And trains, I only did $15, and I was able to do Trains 2019 for almost a year, maybe half a year. It didn't seem like that long. Wasn't that long, but my son, until very recently, was still into trains, but then all of a sudden he's kind of burnt out about that lately. He was saying he says he's not that into it anymore, or whatever. He's not into it at the moment, which is kind of a shame because he was really developing a lot of route. I think what's happening is he's not able to get over to the States right now. So he's not able to research some of the areas in and around Buffalo and Pennsylvania, which is what he wants to do. I think he still wants to do that, last I heard, as early as this weekend. So I'm not too sure. But kids go through phases. It's no big deal. So do the big kids like me. So what else we got here? SimRail reminds me a lot of the Driver 2. Yeah, somebody mentioned that. The Driver 2, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I heard somebody mention the Driver 2. I'm not going to worry about it because this is coming, so. Oh, yeah. Maybe that's why I didn't pay attention to it. And if the graphics weren't that good and it was just passenger, I probably would have avoided it. And honestly, like, it's not I don't mind running the trains once in a while, but to get a simulator for just that, I wouldn't. What does it for me is the signal boxes and the ability to have the AI. Because I remember back in the day, Siam had a train dispatcher simulator. They also had a driver, which was, I think, it was all text-based back then. We're talking a long time ago. And Siam had a, ironically enough, and I think it was Tehachapi Loop in the U.S. It did. I remember that because I remember Wolong and all that other stuff, or Calente. I remember those sightings. So they had the North American part that was, I don't know if it was free or if it cost a little. I think it was. If it was not free, it was pretty damn cheap, if I recall. But they had the United States, but they also had Europe, and they had a lot of stuff, if I recall, in Europe too, because that's where they were based out of. I was cool with it. So I was, I did my little dispatching in, Tehachapi and all that, and that was fine. But I remember going through a lot of different, I'd go through a lot of different dispatching. They had other ones too. I thought they had one with some yards or something, if I recall. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of way back in the memory bank now, so I don't remember too much. It was well before Run 8. Probably before Train Sim. So it goes back, it goes back a ways. But I was fine with it. In fact, this is the one I have to be careful when I say. So SimRail, there was also RailSim and RailSim US. RailSim was a German one. I remember getting it. I had to order it. And it came by mail. The diskette came by mail back then. And I got it, and I was able to install it, and it was the total shits back then. It was the total shits because it was just like you had the CTC signaling in the U.S. Europe had their own like signals or whatever, but I still enjoyed it. I enjoyed the European one enough that and then the U.S. one came later, if I recall. But there was a demo for the European one, if I recall, because I know I played it. Maybe I actually downloaded it too, or bought it, or I don't think I downloaded it. I don't know. Back then it was crazy with downloads, but I had fun with that. So I was never against trying out new things like playing in a different continent. It's just, what do you do? And outside of North America, freight I'm not too familiar with, other than it's not that big of a deal, but passengers are much more of a thing. And passengers are much more scheduled service. Things can go wrong, but it's still, the signal box is, it's busy enough where you have to do a lot of things. Now, the only suggestion I can think of, and I'm not going to worry about it right now because I'm perfectly fine with the schedule and the craziness of certain trains not showing up on time, and their own delays that start coming, especially when you get the human element, because you get these drivers who are not that good or whatever, and they're missing, they're missing stops or not deciding not to stop, and then they show up early, and you kind of like, okay, now where I'm going to hold this guy, because I got trains to get around you. But I'm cool with that. Just like I'm cool with I did the yeah, I better be going to bed soon because my brain's starting to go. I did I can't think of the name of it. Oh, what is that simulator that I did over the summer? I got SimRail and RailSim on my brain now all of a sudden, and I kind of lost it. Anyways, it was Steam. Railroads Online. Railroads Online. Okay, so I did Railroads Online for a while. I thought Railroads Online at the time. I was thinking it was revolutionary. Probably really, yeah, not really. At the time, it felt that way, but it reminded me of like a revolutionary book. But then you got into it, and it was just like you were just stuck kind of in this one area, and it wasn't really expansive. I mean, you had the territory, and you were able to build your own yards. It was different. It was definitely a different concept, but I never really got back into that, and nor will I probably ever at this point because now things have changed. So, Train Life. Oh God, that was. Yeah, I was in that for a tiny bit, but that wasn't it. Yeah, Railroads Online was much bigger than Train Life. Train Life didn't last long. That was interesting. But let's see here. What am I missing here? SimRail remains a lot of Train Driver 2, but the grades are much better in Sim. Oh yeah. Oh, the graphics, yes. Wasn't there another game like SimRail? I think it was called. Train Life. Train Life, no. No. Train Life was. I was trying to remember what Train Life was all about. That was about some weird scheduling. It was kind of like a. Wasn't that the one where it was like? It was kind of like a tycoon simulator with a. I don't know. I can't remember. I honestly, it was like kind of like a tycoon and a train simulator combined or something. It was really weird. Maybe I'm wrong. I can't think of anything that's quite like. I mean, the only thing that I can come close to, possibly, maybe like the subway simulators. I can't even think of a European one that. I mean, Train Sim World comes to mind because they do a lot of that stuff, but I just Zeus 3 is another one. I looked at Zeus 3 because somebody had mentioned that the other day, and I kind of looked at that. Zeus 3 just looks like. It looks worse than Run 8. I shouldn't say Run 8 is bad, but I mean, it looks. Somebody said it was like Microsoft Train Simulator, and I looked at it. To me, it looks like even worse than it looks worse than Microsoft Train Simulator. Not by much, but it doesn't look that good to me. At least in my opinion. I could be wrong, but and I know I hear it's a really good quote unquote simulator because they use it for training people or whatever. I was watching. Actually, I was watching a video, probably not this past weekend, but the weekend before, because there wasn't that much to do. So yeah, doing a lot of things on YouTube and whatever. So, and yeah, I was just like, oh yeah, somebody would mention Zusi 3 on the Train Sim 4, and I looked at it and I was just like, yeah, okay, maybe it's good. Maybe I'm missing something, but no, not for me. There's nothing that gets my attention for it. That's for sure. I don't know. I don't know the schedule system, multiplayer, whatever else is on it. Beats the hell out of me, but it hasn't captivated me. If somebody drags my attention and says, "Sean, you got to check this out. You'd love it," then maybe I would pay more attention and find something that's better about it. But the thing about SimRail is nobody had to drag me. Somebody had mentioned it on Train Sim, and I was like, well, this looks really cool. It looks neat. I mean, it's and you're thinking, it's like, oh, it's got those things, and I'm thinking, yeah, the passenger people will probably like that one. I'm not into passengers, but I was like, yeah, it might be challenging. You get points, and you do get points in this or something. I think you can develop your it has that points thing, so it gives you that quote unquote feeling of accomplishment if that's what you need. But I don't recall having points deducted or gained for dispatching in those signal boxes, so which may or may not be a good thing. Maybe I need the positive reinforcement to tell me that I'm actually doing a job well, or I'm just sitting there, because Train Dispatcher will do that. Train Dispatcher will kind of score you, or at least it will. If you want that information, you can find it, and it'll tell you how long trains have been sitting there and why, and well, sort of. But that's yeah, it looks like it was 11:21. I think things are winding down. Boy, I wish I mean, I had a nap tonight. I could probably go. I mean, my little need machine is just like, oh man. I mean, not need, want. It's not a need. It's a want. But I was really looking forward to SimRail tonight. It didn't happen. Shit happens. So we got to talk about other things. Maybe I'll change the description of this video later. I don't know. Maybe I'll just leave it. But bottom line is SimRail's going to go through these little growing pains, and single player test is coming. They have made that very clear. There's going to be a lot of other changes that are just going to keep on popping in, and there's going to be little setbacks as well. I anticipate that to happen. This is what it is. I haven't paid a cent for this. I've been, I applied for it. I was able to get onto the testing phase of this, and I'm grateful for it. And there's a lot of people there are a lot of people in the Train Sim community that are out there right now. I don't know if any of you guys are into this yet, but you can request on Steam if you haven't done so already. There's still time, or you can wait. You can wait when this releases, but or continue to enjoy my streams. I will be back tomorrow, and I'll probably stream a little bit longer, or at least I will try. I'll make sure I connect this time. I think I'll do that from now on. I won't go so far as to launch it and think that I'm going to get in. But this was like what somebody on Train Sim was saying the other day. Was he was talking about all these network issues and various things, and was just like, man, shit happens. So looking into it, Quincy, I think you would like it because you like running trains, and I mean, I know you don't. There are cargo trains. They're not as big and as challenge. I shouldn't say that they're not as challenging. I mean, you gotta follow the signals and all that. I personally am more interested in running the cargo trains myself. They are very few that pop up on the schedule. I think there's intermodal, there's coal loaded, coal empty, mixed. I was actually seeing them last night, just after sunset in the sim. I was seeing them go by one of my towers. They're not on all of them, but they're on certain ones. I gotta investigate the map a little bit more. Maybe tomorrow I'll print out a little bit of it and try to figure out the ones that I like, and what they're, kind of write some notes what they're all about, and just to give an idea for people, like what signal boxes have what challenging. That way, when I see these names that pop up on the little list that comes up, I'm just like, I know which one I'm going for. But if that one's isn't there, this is my second choice, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of this, because it's just like, okay, you may not get that box, and then you might decide, well, maybe you have to go to another server. There was all these servers. I hadn't even gone to the European servers. There was English-speaking servers in England. I could have gone to Australia. I could have gone. There's servers all over the world. Why there's nothing right now, at least from North America. I don't know if it's a North American issue or if it's a worldwide issue. We'll see what happens. I'll probably go on the forums a little bit afterwards, but I'm going to end this stream right now. I think you would like it, Quincy, because you like to drive mainline trains, and I think this applies. And as far as for me, I love dispatching. And I hadn't done, and don't get me wrong, I love running trains too, and I love the scenery in this, so it's kind of a shame that I'm sticking myself up into a box. But the beautiful thing about these signal boxes, and this is unlike any other one that I've had, I'm just going to yap for a little bit longer, who cares? So, the cool thing about the signal boxes is this reminds me of certain ideas that I had as well, and trust me, this has reinvigorated some of those ideas, though honestly right now I don't feel a need to it. And it's being in a signal box in Europe, what they call signal boxes, or what they call towers in North America, which are non-existent now. But there was a time where there was a lot of these towers in North America too, especially when the railroads were much more dominant, and communication lines were in CTC, despite the fact that there was CTC, and it's been CTC I think since the 30s. But even despite that, it took a long time for it to become, not so much system-wide, because not every line is CTC either. But to have, I remember there was a simulator that was out. I think it was like a tower sim or something like that. I forget what it was called. I think it was called Tower Sim, Tower Rail Sim, or something like that. And you could hear the sound of the trains going by, which was cool, but you never had that visual. And my son can tell you right now, what he was saying is he loves dispatching, but it gets boring after a while, because you're just dealing with the one screen. And I can see that, but I've always been able to get into it, although I haven't in a long time, because there's so much other things that are visually interesting to me, or other sims that are more interesting to me. But yeah, there was a time where I would spend a lot of time in Train Dispatcher 3. But this one, this is what he told me. He says he likes Train Dispatcher 3, but he hadn't thought about it in a long time, and all of a sudden he's like, it's like, holy crap. he said, what's so cool about this is you can look right out your window and see the trains going by. And I had one, you see all the passengers, you see one, you see them all. A lot of times I don't even look at the train that's going by because I'm too busy looking at my board. And which is fine because most times people, when they're doing their job or they see a train, like, you know what a train looks like. You've seen one passenger train, you see them all. And same with the cargo trains. I mean, there's probably not going to be much variation into them. Well, what makes it? Well, who knows? I don't know, but I'm not even worried about that right now. There's scenery. There's plenty of scenery. There's plenty of operation that's embedded into it, and there's the signal boxes. And for me, and it's very popular right now. The signal boxes are much more popular than the trains themselves, and I think it's because probably number one, people are learning the signal boxes, especially the more complicated ones, because there's a lot of people who have taken the time and really looked into it. I still have to look into it a little bit more and try to study it and understand it a little bit more, because they can be very complex, especially the bigger boards. But I'm up to that challenge, believe me. And it's a learning curve, and I don't give a rat's ass because I'm up to it. It's like, because once I get it to it, I can see myself just, give me that signal box every time. And who knows what the servers are going to be. I don't know if they're always going to be on the network or if you can host your own or whatever or join others. But I'm all for it. It's like, bring it on. And hopefully they expand things and have even more of them. And the communication thing and calling the next one. There was another one I had too that involved the old handles, the old manual interlockings, and apparently that's in here somewhere because they show you the little levers, and they even show a category for electric. But I think that's something they do have them. Maybe there is a certain board that does have the manual ones. I'm not sure. But the manual ones, they're becoming a thing of the past too, even in Europe. But those ones were... I remember those ones because there was a sim out that did it, that you actually had to use those levers and you had to use it in a certain order and all that other stuff, but you learned it and you got to know it, and eventually it worked. And then you even did the little, I think you did the Morse code thing for the code line down to the next station down the line, and you were able to basically maybe it was a teletyper. I'm not sure what the hell it was, but I remember vaguely doing it, and it was a lot of fun. The only problem was the schedule was it wasn't multiplayer, and the schedule became predictable. And it wasn't as busy. And I've already seen patterns, especially with the passenger side. So the one tower I was at, there was already, I could see the patterns that were forming, especially when it's just mainly AI trains. So you'd have one train that would go through. You'd have one train that would go through, and it would have a 1 minute stop. So you'd have to line it up to the siding. I think it was the siding first. Then there was another train that had a 7 minute stop. That actually you can do it from the main or the siding. I forget, but you line it up at the siding, and you'd have to make sure you didn't line up the other guy, because there was going to be another train that came behind it that was going to overtake it, and that happens once every hour in each direction. And you look at the schedule and you can see it, just like a commuter service. So they have hourly service, but then in between they also have the passenger, the Euros and all those other things that go through, and the cargo trains. So they're all running in and amongst each other, depending upon the time of day. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how much randomization there is as far as their freights. I don't know if they're totally scheduled based on the passenger schedules and how that works in Europe. I don't know, but it was still cool, regardless. And I could see at some point maybe it'll become too predictable. Maybe you'll get used to it a certain way, but I still think that there's going to be enough randomness with the things, and hopefully at that point, then they'll have certain things where you have maintenance on a certain track. I think with the cargo stuff, and at least some of the operations, there's going to be enough randomization based on the cargo, because that can't be the same every time. Cargo changes depending upon the markets. So I could see that, and there was all kinds of other tracks and that we weren't even using, and I don't even think they've been utilized yet, and I'm okay with that. I was just fine with what we had. So, anyways, train life. You look into it. I remember that at the Horseshoe Curve. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know if it was Horseshoe Curve or it was down near it. Oh, you remember it, like the real thing at Horseshoe Curve. I know there was one there. The actual sim that I played, the tower one, was based on the Pensy. It wasn't too far away from there. It was on the Pittsburgh line. I think it was on the Pittsburgh line, but it was further up. I forget the name of the station. It wasn't like immediately around the area, but it was part of the 4-track main line, the usual old New York Central 4-track main line. And there was crossovers and whatever, and you had certain trains that overtook other ones and whatever. I don't think there was a junction. It was just a tower in the the middle of the Alleghenies or whatever, and 4-track main line. And you had all your crossover tracks, and trains would go through, and you'd hear them. You would hear them in the sim, but you wouldn't see them. So, and I think the developer wanted to get that in there, but he never got around to it, and that got boring as hell. It was just predictable because the schedule. Yeah, you can go in and you can edit. I remember you could edit the schedule, and I was thinking of ways of making it a little bit more random, especially because it was with freights and the trains came at the same time, and you had this text file, and I think I was playing around with it. I was going to do something where it generated at different times, and then eventually I just forget it. Was it at Crescent? Because Crescent's not too far away. Maybe it was Crescent. That's interesting. Yeah, because Crescent's not too far away from Horseshoe Curve. I'm familiar with Crescent. Maybe that's why Crescent always sounded familiar to me. Maybe it is Crescent. Huh. Yeah, it was the schedule was on a text file, and you could go in and you could edit it. But at the same time, I honestly, looking back at it, I don't know programming wise if I had thought about it, but I probably could have thought about it, was to have some type of generator, or do a little bit of a little tiny program of mine that I like to do with different things. Kind of like the AI detector, but just go in and have it so that it would randomly vary the train times a bit, so that things would be off a little, and maybe you wouldn't have an overtake all the time, and sometimes you would, and maybe you'd have issues on certain tracks, and but yeah. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with Europe. I'm not too worried about it. I think SimRail is going to be a huge part of my playing time for. Honestly, I can see that being. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but I'm all for, like, right now. It's a definite buy for me as well. I would buy SimRail. I would recommend it. SimRail and the other one that's coming out, Railroader. Those are the two. They're definite buys. And Run 8. I know Jason had a video the other night. That was I think it was you. It was a you switcher that posted it. I can't remember. I hadn't looked at that yet. I kind of looked. I kind of went through it a little bit, but I haven't got to it. But I could tell he was on the Fitzgerald, and there was a time where I said Fitzgerald was a definite buy for me. It's not right now, and it has nothing to do with Jason and his work, or it's taking too long or anything like that. It's got nothing to do with that. I don't think the situation changes any with Fitzgerald, because for me it's still going to be too much work for one person in 24 hours, or even maybe a few, and the game's changed at the moment. So with the other two that are here, one here right now and one to be here, the game has changed. So like I said before in the beginning, Run 8 has to, in my opinion, for me to really get back into it, would have to have AI switching, or would have to have smaller regions as DLCs. And I will gladly put my money into a DLC for the right region. But it's got to be something that's not connected to the. It can't be connected in one of these regions that just keeps on expanding infinitely. I can't have that. It's got to be its own thing, similar to what was done on the last DLC that was released. Except, let's go with something that is maybe popular enough but doesn't have as much traffic, and maybe has less industry. That would be interesting to me. Then, even with the AIs that go through that are kind of meaningless, or maybe not have as much AIs that go through. Maybe have every train mean something, kind of like what we used to do on for the most part on RTS back in version 1. That'd be cool. What's the channel? I would like to subscribe. I think I got posted to my Discord. Yeah, hi Rail Sim. Yeah. It's if you look in my Discord, Bill, you will find and it's in the descriptions of all my videos if you're not in there. But if you look on my Discord, you will see that it was posted. And Switcher, yeah, he was the one that posted it. So Jason's whose channel I'd like to subscribe. It's High Rail Simulations, like Quincy says though. So you can get the YouTube. Just look up for High Rail Simulations on YouTube, and I'm pretty sure that is it. And yeah, he's got other things in there as well too. But he's done some previous videos on it. But it's a good video. It shows him running. It's originally I think it's called Folkestone Railcam. And at first I thought, Folkestone Railcam? At first I thought, when I saw this, I was like, what, is it just going to be trains running by? And then, I read the description a little bit further, and I went through some of the videos, and I realized, no, he's not going to stick around Folkestone. He's showing off, the Fitzgerald. And sure enough, he did, and I haven't seen all of it. But I have The dispatch board I actually saw before. I don't know where or how, or maybe Jason showed it to me once. Privileged, of course, but or maybe I saw it. Maybe it was public or something. But I'm pretty sure I saw I knew what what it was going to be like. Industries, we got a pretty good idea what to expect with that, but it's going to still be industry heavy regardless, which doesn't bode well for what I like to do. And like I said, the game's changed. There's these, you got these two things right now. It's and honestly, if those two things weren't there, there's a lot of other things I keep myself busy with, computer wise, that I would probably put in front of it. So Run 8 is a what I would call a distant third right now, as far as train simulators, and I say distant because it goes a little ways back. That could all change with what I have mentioned. One of the two things: you get AI switching, or you get smaller regions. Once those are in, I'm probably back in, because then at that point, then we got the best simulator in North America, and then I would get back into it. I wouldn't hesitate, because then I'd be familiar with it. I could do my thing and have a small group as far as multiplayer, something that I plan on doing eventually with. I plan on doing that with the Railroader as well. So, anyways, my voice is almost totally gone, and nice water tower as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember the water tower. Was the redid that bald but default Run 8 boxcar that made me smile. Oh yeah, I'll have to look at that eventually. Yeah, I don't know how many I'm subscribed to too. I'm sure I'm subscribed to it too as well. But anyways, that's it for tonight, guys. Wish I could have gotten into SimRail, but it was nice having a little discussion and killing my voice. Uh, so that'll be all. I will be back tomorrow regardless. Well, I shouldn't say that. I'll be back tomorrow if the servers are up tomorrow. I assume they will be. What is that? The Cordell cam was nice too. Oh, I might have to take a look at that, but that's nice. I'll put that on my watching list. Anyways, yeah, later, Bill. So yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, probably a little bit earlier, because I share the time with Emmett. So I maybe, yeah, I would say sometime around 7:30, if all goes well and the servers are up. I will communicate on Discord what's happening, and yeah. Thanks, Switcher. You have a good night too. And yeah, we'll try that, and we'll run till at least 11 p.m., which is 48 minutes ago. Try to get back on my schedule. But anyways, that's all for now, guys. Have a good one. We'll talk to you later. Take care.